Young and the Restless. Victor manipulates Lily to target Kane. Young and the Restless sees Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, preparing for war, and he wants every tool possible in his arsenal, and that may include Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil. Let's get into how Victor might use Lily as a weapon against Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. Let's talk about where the battle lines are being drawn with Victor on one side, Kane on the other, and other factions choosing who they can trust. Lily is somebody that could have a huge influence in the coming war. Victor Newman's war strategy. Using Lily Winter as a key player against Kane Ashby. Right now, Kane has just arrived in Genoa City, and this week, Victor delivers that news to Lily, who's absolutely furious. She at first blamed Kane for Damian Kane's, Jermaine Rivers' death, but now realizes Carter was unhinged, and Kane didn't know his assistant was unstable. Still, Lily wants nothing to do with Kane. She feels like if he wasn't playing those reindeer games, Damian might still be alive. Once Lily found out that Kane was Dumas, she's been kind of furious at her ex-husband across the board. Lily's anger spiraled and got worse from there. With Kane and Victor both planning to use any means necessary to win, it's easy to see that Lily could be a big player on the chessboard. Now Kane wants Lily as his queen by his side, but Victor would love to use her as some sort of pawn in his twisted plan against Kane. So that's the question. Do you want to be a queen? Do you want to be a pawn? Or do you want to say no to both and not play their games? Lily Winter's complex emotions and loyalties amidst the Newman-Ashby conflict. After the truth came out that Carter was the one who killed Damian, that finally stopped Lily from assuming the absolute worst about Kane. Even though Carter killed Damian to get him out of Kane's way so he could have Lily, she let that part go. She still remains appalled by Kane's lies, manipulations, deception, and the whole Dumas thing. It got even worse when Lily got back to Genoa City and Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, revealed that Kane had dipped out of his chateau in France and came back to GC while he told everybody else they were still trapped on the mountain. That made Lily even madder at Kane. She thinks Colin Atkinson, Tristan Rogers, is to blame and that his awful influence made his son Kane the worst possible version of himself. Of course, Lily is worried about their children finding out how bad their dad is now. Lily didn't want Kane to come back to GC at all, but he's here and not going away. All Lily wants to do is avoid Kane and stay away from him. Victor's plan to exploit Kane's weakness through Lily. This week, Victor is making big moves. He talks to Lily and her brother Devin Hamilton, Brighton James. Victor knows that Kane's Achilles heel, his one big weak spot, is Lily. Everybody knows how badly Kane wants to be reunited with Lily. For that reason, Victor Lily is the perfect person to use, possibly as a spy to keep an eye on Kane because of how he approaches her. That means Victor may want Lily to get into Kane's path, rather than staying away from him. Young and the Restless spoilers confirm that Victor wants Lily to join his revenge plot against Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Kane and anybody else who's allying with Lily's ex-husband. Victor tells her, "You shouldn't avoid him. That's the worst thing." She and Devin are hearing him out. Obviously, Victor is going to try real hard to convince Lily to join Team Newman. That would be a huge win over Kane to know that Lily was on their side, and it will drive Kane crazy. Lily Winter's skepticism and the moral dilemma of spying on Kane. In the same conversation where Chelsea and Lily were talking about how awful Kane is and wondering what he's up to, they were also talking about Victor being shady as heck and totally untrustworthy. So even if Lily considers Victor's proposal, I think she would go in eyes wide open and with lots of skepticism. Kane made a peace proposal to Victor before they left France, but Victor rejected it and told Kane he's ready to fight. He said, "If you want war, we can do that." But if Victor wants Lily to pretend to get close to Kane, that might be a big problem for her. That might be a line she doesn't want to cross. I don't even know if Lily can pretend to tolerate Kane because the bottom line is Lily is fuming at Kane. She has vowed never to forgive him. So if Lily suddenly turned up all smiles and said, "Oh, it's cool," I think Kane would be very suspicious. Even if Victor talked Lily into it, I don't know if it would fly. Given how dirty Victor also did Lily with Chancellor, I don't even know why she would agree to work with Victor. Maybe she hates Kane more than she dislikes Victor. But if Lily pretends to play nice with Kane while feeding information back, she might actually start feeling guilty about deceiving Kane. Potential consequences of Lily's alliance and the future of Kane and Lily's relationship. They are both wicked businessmen, and Lily might finally start to see that Kane was right and that she was wrong about Colin influencing him. Or maybe Kane is worse than ever. We'll see. If Lily betrays Kane and he finds out, I wonder if he would finally give up on his quest to reunite with Lily. But you never know. If she came clean and said, "Okay, look, I've been spying for Victor," we could see Kane forgive her anyway because he was hiding behind the Dumas persona and lured Lily and the others to France. Kane was being deceptive, so he might let it slide that Lily was being deceptive as well. The question is whether Victor could convince Lily to come over to his side and help target Kane. Right now, Lily Winters is in a very vulnerable spot because of Damien's death. It's so fresh, and I wonder if her grief and anger will make it easy for Victor to take advantage of her and weaponize her. Lily definitely knows she doesn't want a reunion with Kane, but I suspect if Victor approaches Lily about making an alliance, no matter how much she dislikes Kane right now, she would regret agreeing to any deal she makes with Victor. Upcoming twists: Victor Newman's unexpected deal and Lily's critical decision. Young and the Restless spoilers say that by the end of this week, Victor does indeed make a deal with somebody unexpected. It could be Lily, but it could be Chelsea or somebody else. This week, after Victor approaches Lily and Devon, we're going to see Lily making a decision about what to do about the proposal. Maybe she'll decide she and Devon should just be Switzerland and remain neutral and not get involved. On the other hand, Victor might not want to use Lily as a spy to get info on Kane, but may want to use her as a source of information. Or Victor may want Lily to be a honey trap to use against Kane. Kind of like he did with Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, when he had her trying to seduce Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, for nefarious reasons. But Lily is not Audra. I don't see her jumping to do what Victor wants. I especially don't see Lily jumping to seduce anybody to do Victor any favors. Bottom line, Lily doesn't need Victor money, power, or influence. I don't even know what he can offer her unless it is to help Lily get some sort of revenge on Kane if that's what she wants. The bottom line is Lily is Kane's weak spot, and Victor would definitely want to exploit that. I'm really interested to see what Lily decides, and if she will help Victor to take Kane down. No stranger to secrets, betrayals, and carefully orchestrated manipulations. But the latest twist in the lives of Lily Winters and Kane Ashby promises to shake the city to its very core. Over the past few weeks, viewers have watched Lily's world spiral into chaos, but behind the scenes, someone is quietly pulling the strings, using Lily as an unwitting pawn in a dangerous game. One that could destroy Kane, her family, and everything she holds dear. It all started innocently enough. Lily, the fiercely intelligent and compassionate businesswoman, has always been loyal to her family, particularly to her father, Neil Winters, and her children. Her loyalty is both a strength and a vulnerability, as it makes her the perfect target for those who know how to exploit it. Kane Ashby, her husband, has been dealing with his own complicated past, from shady business dealings to lingering family conflicts, but until now Lily has stood by him, trusting that together they could weather any storm. That trust, however, is about to be tested in ways she never imagined. The mastermind behind this latest manipulation is none other than Victoria Newman. Yes, Victoria, the formidable, strategic, and often ruthless business mogul, has her eyes set on weakening Kane, not just for business leverage, but for the psychological satisfaction of watching him crumble. Victoria's latest scheme is subtle yet devastating. Manipulate Lily's emotions, fears, and insecurities to push her into confronting Kane in ways that could irreparably harm their relationship. Victoria's plan hinges on planting seeds of doubt, carefully curated evidence of Kane's alleged misdeeds, and emotionally charged moments designed to provoke suspicion. It started with casual conversations, where Victoria subtly suggested that Kane might not be completely honest about his business ventures. She mentioned things that can happen when you mix business and family, never outright accusing Kane, but insinuating enough to spark Lily's natural curiosity and protectiveness. It was a masterclass in psychological manipulation. Victoria knew Lily's protective instincts would drive her to investigate further, essentially turning Lily into a self-directed agent in Victoria's plan. Soon after, Lily began noticing anomalies in Kane's behavior, or at least what she perceived as anomalies. He seemed more secretive than usual, preoccupied with late-night calls and sudden meetings. Lily, who had always trusted Kane implicitly, couldn't shake a nagging feeling that something was off. In Genoa City, appearances can be deceiving, and Victoria knew that perfectly. Each clue was carefully planted. A suspicious email left open on Kane's laptop, a business card from an unknown associate casually mentioned in conversation, and even subtle hints from Victoria herself, suggesting that Kane might not be entirely transparent. As days passed, Lily's mind became a battleground of doubt and loyalty. She questioned herself, Was she overreacting? Could she be reading too much into innocent coincidences? But the more she questioned, the more Victoria amplified the subtle messages, exploiting Lily's insecurities. Victoria even enlisted her allies, people who had their own reasons for wanting Kane out of the picture. Each whisper, each innocent remark served to isolate Lily emotionally, making her doubt her husband while feeling the heavy weight of responsibility to protect her family. The turning point came when Lily stumbled upon a document, purportedly revealing that Kane had been negotiating behind her back, making deals that could jeopardize the Winters family legacy. The document was carefully fabricated, designed to look credible and urgent. Lily, ever the dutiful wife and mother, felt a surge of betrayal and fear. This was the moment Victoria had been waiting for. The moment Lily's protective instincts transformed into confrontation. The confrontation was inevitable. One evening, Lily cornered Kane in their stylish Genoa City loft, her voice trembling between fury and hurt. "Kane, I found this," she said, holding the document like a weapon. "Why didn't you tell me about this? Are you trying to destroy everything we've built?" Kane, blindsided and bewildered, struggled to find the words. He knew instantly that something was wrong, that this wasn't just a misunderstanding. Someone had set a trap, and unfortunately, Lily had walked right into it. The drama that followed was electric. Kane tried to explain, to reassure Lily that nothing was as it seemed, but every word seemed to fall on deaf ears. Victoria's manipulation had done its work. Lily's mind was clouded with suspicion and fear. For the first time, Kane felt a real crack in the foundation of their relationship. And for Victoria, watching from the shadows, it was exhilarating. The stakes escalated when Lily decided to take matters into her own hands. Determined to protect her family and expose what she believed were Kane's secrets, she began digging deeper, inadvertently stepping further into Victoria's trap. She questioned Kane's business associates, reviewed confidential contracts, and even attempted to access sensitive company information. All while Victoria continued her subtle guidance, nudging Lily toward actions that would ultimately harm Kane's reputation. The irony, of course, is that Kane had been operating transparently all along. The deals Lily feared were not clandestine betrayals, but legitimate business maneuvers designed to stabilize their financial standing and secure their family's future. Yet perception in Genoa City often outweighs reality, and Lily's perception, carefully crafted by Victoria, was now the dominant narrative. This manipulation also began affecting Lily's relationships beyond Kane. Her children sensed her tension, her colleagues noticed her distraction, and her family grew concerned about her increasingly obsessive behavior. It was a ripple effect, perfectly orchestrated by Victoria. Every decision Lily made, every action she took against Kane, only added pressure to the situation, escalating conflict while isolating Lily emotionally. In a dramatic twist, Kane eventually uncovered hints of the manipulation. He confronted Victoria directly, leading to a tense and fiery exchange. Victoria, ever the strategist, maintained her composure, denying any wrongdoing while subtly taunting Kane. "You know Lily," she said coolly. "She only wants what's best for her family. Sometimes the truth is inconvenient, isn't it?" Kane realized that Victoria's cunning lay not in overt attacks, but in psychological warfare, turning loved ones against each other while maintaining plausible deniability. Kane's next challenge was even more complex. He had to regain Lily's trust without exposing Victoria's scheme prematurely. Every conversation had to be measured, every gesture carefully considered. He had to remind Lily of their shared history, their love, and the integrity of their family bond, all while planting seeds of doubt about Victoria's intentions without directly accusing her, because doing so too soon could backfire, making Lily defensive and further entrenching her suspicions. Meanwhile, Victoria's plan continued evolving. She introduced new variables, such as suggesting alliances between Kane and other Genoa City figures that could be interpreted as secretive or self-serving. She also leveraged gossip, a powerful weapon in Genoa City, spreading subtle rumors that questioned Kane's loyalty, where power and deception ran like lifeblood through every boardroom and back alley. Victor Newman was quietly plotting. The empire he had built over decades, Newman Enterprises, was more than a business. It was a chessboard, and every move mattered. And now, with Kane Ashby inching dangerously close to undermining him, Victor knew he needed more than brute force. He needed strategy, subtlety, and someone who could manipulate the unpredictable. Lily Winters. Victor's office, as always, was bathed in late afternoon light, casting long shadows across his desk. The lines on his face deepened as he reviewed the latest intelligence on Kane. The charming Aussie had insinuated himself into the Abbott family's world, forming alliances and planting seeds of doubt. Kane had charisma, connections, and a dangerous knack for making allies in unexpected places. And worst of all, he had begun probing Newman Enterprises, looking for cracks in the foundation. Victor leaned back in his chair, steepling his fingers. Kane Ashby thinks he's untouchable, he muttered to himself. But everyone has a weakness. And I have Lily. Lily Winters. Sweet, empathetic, brilliant, but underestimated. In a world dominated by men like Victor and Kane, Lily's intelligence and moral compass often made others blind to her capacity for influence. Victor knew she had the ability to sway opinions and, more importantly, to access information without anyone suspecting her hand. She wasn't a pawn, she was a queen disguised as one. The plan was delicate. Victor needed Lily to be Kane's confidant without Kane ever realizing her true allegiance. He began with subtle nudges, planting the idea that Kane's trust in her was essential for his personal and professional ventures. Victor framed Lily as someone who could help Kane navigate the complexities of Newman Enterprises while simultaneously keeping her close to the inner workings of his empire. Victor summoned Lily to his office, the weight of the conversation pressing down before a single word was spoken. She entered with her usual grace, unaware of the full scope of Victor's intentions. "Lily," Victor began, his tone warm but edged with authority, "I need someone I can trust, someone who knows the stakes in this city. And I think you're the perfect person for the task." Lily tilted her head slightly, curiosity piqued. "What kind of task, Victor?" "Kane Ashby," Victor said, letting the name linger. "He's ambitious, clever, and dangerously close to discovering vulnerabilities within Newman Enterprises. I need you to be his ally to gain his trust and to ensure I'm always one step ahead." Lily's eyes narrowed. She knew Kane's charm could be intoxicating, and she sensed the weight of the responsibility Victor was placing on her. But she also recognized the stakes. "You want me to spy on him?" Victor smiled thinly. "Not spy, Lily. Guide. Influence. And above all, protect the empire. Newman Enterprises survives because of foresight, not brute force. And you, my dear, are the key." Over the next few weeks, Victor's strategy began to unfold with meticulous precision. Lily positioned herself closer to Kane, joining him in projects, listening to his ideas, and subtly steering conversations. She asked questions that seemed innocent but planted seeds of doubt, guided discussions toward topics Victor needed her to explore, and always reported back with nuanced insights that only someone as perceptive as her could provide. Kane, ever confident in his intuition, initially didn't suspect a thing. He found Lily's presence reassuring, her intelligence a complement to his own, and her loyalty to him unquestionable. But as Victor had predicted, her subtle nudges began shaping Kane's decisions. She highlighted risks he had overlooked, questioned alliances he was forming, and encouraged strategies that inadvertently played into Victor's hands. Victor's brilliance lay not just in using Lily to gather information, but in using her to manipulate Kane's perception of control. Kane believed he was steering the ship, but in reality, Lily was the unseen rudder, guiding him into waters where Victor could capitalize on every misstep. The turning point came during a high-stakes negotiation involving a critical Newman Enterprises acquisition. Kane, thinking he had the upper hand, was poised to make a bold move that could have destabilized Victor's empire. But Lily, armed with insights from Victor, intervened. She suggested a seemingly innocuous change in Kane's approach, one that appeared to give him an advantage, but was actually a carefully orchestrated trap. Victor watched the proceedings from his office, a faint smile playing on his lips as Kane unknowingly walked into the carefully laid web. Every decision Kane made, influenced by Lily's guidance, strengthened Victor's position and exposed Kane's vulnerabilities. But the strategy wasn't just about boardroom victories. Victor understood Kane's personal weaknesses, and he used Lily to subtly highlight these. She engaged Kane in conversations that made him reveal more than he intended, confessions about ambitions, fears, and alliances. These weren't simply pieces of gossip, they were tools, each one a weapon Victor could wield in the unfolding power struggle. Yet, Victor's plan wasn't without risk. The closer Lily got to Kane, the more emotional and ethical stakes became. She found herself empathizing with Kane's struggles, sometimes questioning whether manipulating him was truly justified. But Victor reminded her of the stakes, framing the mission as one of loyalty to the greater good, the survival and dominance of Newman Enterprises. In one particularly tense meeting, Kane confronted Lily about a perceived misstep in his strategy. His trust wavered for a moment. Lily, calm and composed, leveraged everything Victor had taught her. She acknowledged his concerns but subtly reframed the situation, making Kane believe it was his brilliance that corrected the course, not her intervention. The dance of influence continued, intricate and precise. As weeks turned into months, Victor's vision became reality. Kane, once a formidable adversary, found himself making decisions that strengthened Victor's grip rather than threatening it. Lily's role as both confidant and strategist had shifted the balance of power, demonstrating that in the game of corporate chess, brains often triumphed over brawn. Victor, ever the master strategist, reflected on the outcome. He had not only neutralized a threat, but also demonstrated the power of subtle manipulation, foresight, and human insight. And at the center of it all was Lily Winters, a woman underestimated by many but essential to the victory that cemented Newman Enterprises' dominance. In the end, Victor's strategy revealed the truth of Genoa City. Victory often belonged to those who could see the moves before they were made, and those who had the wisdom to use the right players at the right time. Lily, Kane, and Victor each had played their part, but in the intricate dance of power, only Victor Newman truly understood the game. And as always, he emerged not just unscathed but triumphant, his empire intact, his enemies outmaneuvered, and his corridors of Genoa City, where family empires clash and secrets lie just beneath the surface. Lily Winters finds herself ensnared in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. As the daughter of Drusilla Winters and Neil Winters, and the mother to Moses, Lily has always strived to balance her personal happiness with her commitment to family. Yet, the current storm involving the Newmans and the Ashbys has placed her squarely in the crosshairs of a conflict that tests her loyalties, moral compass, and emotional resilience like never before. It all began with the subtle but undeniable tension between Kane Ashby and the Newman clan. Kane, whose charming persona has long masked a past riddled with questionable choices, suddenly became the epicenter of suspicion after a string of business mishaps and family betrayals. Victoria Newman, fiercely protective of the Newman legacy and wary of outsiders' influence on the family, began scrutinizing Kane's every move. Lily, married to Kane, has now found herself caught in the eye of a growing storm, her allegiance questioned, her trust tested, and her emotional equilibrium strained to its limits. From the outset, Lily's love for Kane has been a cornerstone of her life. She admires his charisma, intelligence, and ambition, yet the Ashby man has never been free of controversy. Kane's occasional lapses in judgment, whether involving secretive business dealings or personal indiscretions, have created a pattern that Lily has struggled to reconcile with her unwavering love for him. In the face of Victoria's relentless probing and the Newmans' intense suspicion, Lily's emotions are pulled in multiple directions. Her heart wants to protect Kane, to stand by him even when evidence mounts against him. Her conscience, however, demands honesty, transparency, and accountability, forcing her into a moral limbo that is exhausting and emotionally taxing. The emotional complexity does not end with her relationship to Kane. Lily's own family, the Winters, are deeply invested in seeing her thrive, but also in protecting her from the fallout of any scandal or misstep. Neil, ever the pragmatic father, has cautioned Lily about blind loyalty. "Sometimes love doesn't give you immunity, Lily," he warns, his voice tinged with the wisdom of experience and the sorrow of witnessing repeated family betrayals. These words echo in Lily's mind, creating a tension between familial guidance and personal desire, between the duty to her husband and the responsibility she feels toward her family's reputation. Adding to the complexity is Lily's innate empathy, a trait that has always been both a blessing and a curse. Unlike many in Genoa City who approach conflicts with cutthroat pragmatism, Lily feels deeply. She absorbs the emotional currents around her. The subtle disdain in Victoria's tone, the quiet anxieties of Kane's allies, and the unspoken expectations of her own family. Each conversation, each hushed whisper, becomes a battleground for her emotions. Does she confront Kane about his latest decisions? Should she side with Victoria to protect the larger family legacy? Or does she find a way to mediate, to bridge the divide without compromising her own integrity? The mental and emotional calculus she performs daily is exhausting, leaving her torn, drained, and perpetually on edge. Yet Lily is no stranger to navigating treacherous waters. Throughout her life, she has faced personal and professional challenges with resilience, balancing career ambitions with family responsibilities. Her work at Newman Enterprises has given her a unique perspective, blending the corporate sensibilities of the Newman dynasty with the moral and ethical compass instilled by her own upbringing. She understands the stakes, the ripple effects of every decision, and the hidden agendas that swirl around boardroom tables. But knowledge does not necessarily ease the heartache or resolve the internal conflict she faces as Kane's partner. One particularly poignant aspect of Lily's dilemma is her role as a mother. Young Moses, though still a child, is perceptive beyond his years, and Lily is acutely aware of the example she sets for him. Her loyalty to Kane must be balanced with the need to shield her son from the fallout of adult conflicts. Each decision carries weight not just for her and Kane, but for Moses' understanding of trust, love, and morality. Lily's maternal instincts often clash with her romantic devotion, creating a layered tension that informs every action she takes in the current conflict. The tension reaches its zenith in moments of confrontation with Victoria. Victoria Newman, a woman as formidable as she is fiercely loyal to her family, embodies everything Lily admires and fears. Their interactions are a study in emotional complexity. Lily must navigate the sharp intellect and piercing gaze of Victoria while maintaining her own sense of self and the integrity of her marriage. Each encounter forces Lily to measure her words, weigh her tone, and anticipate the consequences of her responses. It's a delicate dance of diplomacy, one misstep of which could ignite further distrust and escalate the conflict. But Lily's inner turmoil is not limited to her external conflicts. The psychological weight of betrayal, suspicion, and divided loyalties has a profound effect on her. Sleepless nights, moments of doubt, and the gnawing feeling of being trapped in a narrative beyond her control all take a toll. She oscillates between hope and despair, between the belief that love and honesty can prevail, and the fear that the Newman-Ashby feud will irreparably damage the people she loves most. The emotional stakes are personal, but the ramifications extend beyond the intimate sphere of her family, touching the larger ecosystem of Genoa City's social and corporate networks. Interestingly, Lily's situation also illuminates her personal growth. Despite the immense pressure, she exhibits a nuanced understanding of human nature, recognizing that morality and loyalty are rarely black and white. She sees the complexity in Kane's choices, acknowledging that mistakes do not define a person entirely. She also sees Victoria's protectiveness not as a personal attack, but as a reflection of her devotion to family. This ability to navigate moral ambiguity, to empathize with multiple perspectives while maintaining her own ethical framework, is a testament to Lily's emotional intelligence and resilience. The stakes are further heightened by external pressures from other key players in Genoa City. Jack Abbott's strategic maneuvers, Phyllis Summers' unpredictable interventions, and Nikki Newman's influence all create a volatile environment in which Lily must operate. Each of these players has a vested interest in the outcome of the Newman-Ashby conflict, and their actions frequently force Lily to reassess her positions, reevaluate her alliances, and anticipate outcomes that are impossible to fully control. The convergence of these dynamics transforms what might seem like a simple loyalty test into a complex, multidimensional chess game in which every move carries both personal and professional consequences. At its core, Lily's journey in this conflict is as much about self-discovery as it is about external resolution. She is learning to navigate her emotional landscape, recognizing the interplay between love, loyalty, and moral responsibility. She confronts uncomfortable truths about herself and Kane, about the Newman family, and about the fragile nature of trust in a city where appearances often mask reality.